had it been on this side of the trenches, when he dropped everything, he looked suspicious. Yes, I believe the cops would have picked with him. They would have escalated instead of de-escalated.
What you running for?
Why are you looking nervous? Is that where you belong? Where you live?
Where you came from?
Where you going? Like, you know what I'm saying?
You been drinking? Walk this line for me. Come on.
My man in the bar with a whole bunch of women right now, though. See,
that's into American.
That's into American men.
What's good, y'all? It's the Demouchets React, and we're back with another video.
Who we got today, C?
Today we are back with another American reaction. We're super excited about this video, guys. If you're new to us and we're new to you, make sure you scroll down, hit the red subscribe button, and turn on the post notification bell because we're on the road to 50K. And we cannot get there without you guys, all right? Join the family. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
If you're an American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize?
So we live in Ireland, and our oldest is in senior infants, which is the equivalent of the second half of kindergarten. She did kindergarten back in the States. And she came home from school one day, and she said, "Mommy, we had a drill today." And I went, "Oh, active shooter drill? No. Bumper? No. Mommy, it was a fire drill." Well, oh, okay. I mean, back home, she had active shooter drills every month in kindergarten. We get these phone calls, and it'd say, "Oh, in accordance with Florida law, blah, 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 everything's gone back to normal." And I'm just sitting there thinking of my kid hiding in a bathroom with 30 other kindergartners and her poor teacher trying to keep all these kids quiet.
Wow.
I'm like, that's not normal here. That's something we got used to because that's what America is. It's just one big active shooter drill.
What is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
When there was a medical emergency in my household, and I ended up calling my mother-in-law to make sure that it was okay that I called the ambulance and we wouldn't be charged for it, and also if that was an appropriate thing to call the ambulance for.
Appropriate.
It was top priority, actually.
If you're an American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really...
I duetted this TikTok about a year ago, and I still stand by the fact that like we're significantly dumber in the States. School's a lot different here, but they learn so much more about life and things around us than we ever did. But another thing that I've noticed is people are so dependent in the States, especially like parents, I think, are more dependent and like feel the need to be in their child's lives more. Here, I'm sure they're great parents. I mean, 90% of the kids are super good, but like fourth graders are getting on the tram in the morning. Their parents are kissing them bye, saying peace out. Not the school bus, the tram. And you know what? At night, they get back on the tram and they figure out their way home. Like, the parents are not as, like, involved in the kids' lives, and they're so independent. But even, like, at home in the States, even me, who's almost 20 years old, like, I'm still dependent on my mom.
Okay, pause that, because you already know when it comes to kids.
The last part though, she talking about she's still dependent on her mom.
No, that's you. I don't know. No, I personally don't know any 20-year-olds who are dependent on their parents. I don't.
Yeah, I don't want to depend. I want to be able to survive and thrive and strive. You feel me? But listen, I think that's just interesting for a child to have that unique type of lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? To grow up, find your way through life, not worrying about what can happen.
Yeah.
In such a way, you know?
I feel like it's always a lot of generalization. Even with some comments that we have made in some of these videos, a lot of the comments that we have made have been, you know, personal. It's not what every American thinks. So let's talk about the children being dependent. Okay, so
I'm standing at the bus stop waiting for my baby to get on the bus and waiting for the bus to hit the corner. The last time I see, I'm gonna watch my child.
Yes. I mean, that's us. I mean, first of all, let's address the elephant in the room. Okay. We are in America. So we parent our children to survive in America. And even the survive word, I know that's going to be controversial, but there are certain things, no parent is the same, right?
Facts, yeah.
No matter where you live. I'm sure in Ireland, no two parents there will be the same. No two parents there will treat their children the same. I don't know what the tram is.
I'm thinking it's like a train.
Maybe
I want to say a train.
Or a bus or something.
Or a bus.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
one of those.
growing up in New Orleans, how old was I in the 3rd grade? 8?
Were we about 8 years old in 3rd grade?
Yeah,
7?
8, 9, 8, around 8.
Okay.
So at that age in New Orleans, you all know New Orleans is a tough city. I walked to school by myself. I was able to hop on a bus by myself in a tough city. So it's like when we're speaking with our supporters and they're like, y'all can't do this, y'all can't do that. No. It's a lot of generalizations that's going on. When we allow our children to do that, no, we're living in a whole different time, okay? Back then, it wasn't so much active shooter situations. And the area that I lived in, there were older people who would look out for, children who they saw were alone. So it's right, just a lot of different things. I moved out at 17. I wasn't dependent. You moved out at 17. He wasn't dependent. So when you have like people who make these type of videos and they think just because I'm doing this, everybody does this. No. The cultures within the United States, there's different cultures. There's different parenting. There are different areas. I grew up in rough areas and I I've lived in the suburbs as well. So it's different things.
Nah, I get what you're saying though, and you can even make it more simple if you want to. Like every parent will have their own story when it comes to raising their own child. You know what I'm saying? So if you go to a different continent or a country where everyone else is doing it different, where a child wakes up in the morning and leave the house without any supervision,
and that's good.
That's fine and all, but then you may have 1 or 2 parents that still may come outside. Why? Because of something they've known that happened to them, something they've seen happen to a child, or something they just knowledgeable of, and they don't want to see that happen to their child.
Right.
So at the end of the day, it's all correct.
Right.
And it's not, no one is wrong in a way.
Nobody's wrong for choosing how they want to parent their children. Again, like I said, I was able to do those things. We moved out at 17. But as for us and our children, I'm sorry. I want to be involved in my children's lives as long as I'm living, as long as they allow me to be involved in their lives.
My baby's gone for too long. I'm ready to see their face.
Exactly. That's us though.
Living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
That one time I wanted to see what gynecological services Serbia offered to women by going to a hospital's website.
Oh, God.
American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
2008 or 9, 20 years old, Munich, Germany. City passes the vibe check, no doubt. But I didn't have anyone with me. And I'm trying to get cigarettes from a machine. My
this is about the cop.
I believe
cop
so.
shouts from across the street. He's on his way to me. Hey, you, sir. Is there anything I can help you with? And immediately no, I'm sorry. Don't worry about it. I'm getting out of here anyway. And I keep it moving. And he's like, no, hey, you. And I keep it pushing. Like, hey, you. No. And the next cop stops me, and I immediately drop everything that's in my hands as I take my hands out of my pockets, so I'm getting shot. And so he ends up buying me a pack of cigarettes, bringing me to the nearest bar, explaining to me that they go to 4 years of college to do this, get paid $50,000 a year more than our cops, and bought me a drink.
Now, I'm going to be real with you. Back on this side of the trenches, like, if you get approached by an officer and he's constantly saying, hey you, he's trying to get your attention, he's obviously just trying to get your attention. There's no reason for you to just drop everything out your hands and start coming off as suspicious. Suspicious. Like, they're going to really start to pick with you at that point. You know what I'm saying? But, again, that's just the one thing I want to mention that. I don't think that it was necessary to want to drop everything out your hands because you think you're going to get shot. Like, it's not that crazy. There's really procedures that goes on that leads up to that type of action. You know what I'm saying? So,
right. For me, I would freeze, honestly, because I don't want to that to happen. So I'm a freeze.
And then another thing is that if an officer is doing that on this side of the trenches, it's like, I don't fit the description. Leave me alone. Period. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Like, I didn't do nothing. I don't fit the description. I don't know nobody. I wasn't there when it happened. So, that's it.
currently living abroad. What is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
All right, so the video is blowing up again. I have to make a part.
Oh, it's him again.
So the same cops that stopped me, what I failed to mention is they actually picked up all the stuff that I had dropped. They felt really bad. They explained to me that they're not like our cops, and they don't escalate, they de-escalate. Now that being the case, they brought me to a bar where German women specifically are into American men.
Okay, pause. Pause.
Hold up, what?
Pause. Okay, so kudos the fact that he said that they helped him out and they picked up everything. But had it been on this side of the trenches, when he dropped everything, he looked suspicious. Yes, I believe the cops would have picked with him. They would have escalated instead of de-escalated.
What you running for?
Why are you looking nervous? Is that where you belong? Where you live?
Where you came from?
Where you going? Like, dude, you know what I'm saying?
You been drinking? Walk this line for me. Come on.
My man in the bar with a whole bunch of women right now, though. See,
that's into American.
That's into American men.
Drink, as I said, but what I didn't say is that when I came back out of the bar, when there was a ruck beside, they were getting active with this kid who was in full Nazi uniform and trying to do his little zig heil on the street, and they got gully on his ass. Like, they made sure that everybody watching knew that they don't play that shit. Like for part 3.
If you're an American currently
know
living
that part.
abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America
So my first year here in Paris, I was an au pair, and I got really sick during the winter. It was bronchitis, and I couldn't breathe. I was coughing a lot. I was trying to avoid going to the emergency room as much as possible because in the US it's very, very expensive. But there was one night where I really couldn't hold out any longer, so I drove to the emergency room. And when I was there, they gave me a nebulizer, and then they wanted to give me chest x-rays. And I was like, listen, can we please not do the chest x-rays? I'm fine, let's just go. And the doctor looked at me and she was like, why don't you want to do these? You have to do them, you could have damage. And I said, well, I don't have any money, I'm not going to be able to afford it. And she looked at me and she was like, it's covered with Social Security. So I was like, oh, okay. And then instead of having to book a whole another appointment and wait forever for the results, we walked down the hall, we took the chest x-rays, I had the results in 5 minutes. I paid 12 euros and then I was reimbursed 3 days later.
Nice.
American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up?
So I'm an American and I live in Norway right now. And one time I was going to help my friend with this project that she had, and this girl was still in high school. And so she was like, yeah, just come to my high school, you can help me out, yada, yada, yada. I was like, great. Where do I have to sign in when I get there? Do I need to wear a visitor's badge? Who do I talk to? Should I tell the front desk lady? She was like, what are you talking about? Just walk in and I'll meet you at my classroom. And my mind was blown. I was like, I can just walk into your school? Like, no, aren't they gonna call the police? Aren't they gonna send down an intruder alert? Like, I can't just walk into your high school.
I would feel
and
weird
just
doing
walk
that.
straight to your classroom. No. Then I realized just how messed up it is that American high schoolers are like security prisons.
Okay, hold on. Okay.
Go
ahead.
I just want to say that you're not gonna forget, are you?
I'm not.
All right, you guys. So I just want to say that I don't think that is messed up. That one, we may do it this way and then they may do it that way. I just think that's just how it is.
Right.
Regardless of what drama may, happen throughout the days.
Right.
I don't think it's.
Okay, so I feel like I have to clear something up. Because the last clip, some of these clips are included in the other videos that we have been watching. So in the last clip, first of all, I stopped it before she even said what she said at the end about high schoolers. So I didn't know that she was just, making that comment about high schoolers. But okay, so I prefaced my last comment by saying there's rapists everywhere, there's kidnappers everywhere. I was not saying that these type of people are actively trying to get into schools. I was not saying that at all. I was just saying that those people exist.
Right.
I was saying that off of the basis of anybody being able to walk into the school and nobody stopping them.
Right.
And so I also was saying in that last video that our children who are ages 9 and 5, I wouldn't be comfortable with my children's school just allowing anybody to walk into the school without at least having a sign-in sheet.
But she was talking about high schoolers at the
Yeah,
end.
she was talking about high schoolers. I was not. Okay,
Right.
so high school is okay. I may give that a pass. But other schools, no. Y'all can call this brainwash. Y'all can call this whatever. There needs to be a sign-in sheet for little children. And also, there was this topic of fences being brought up about how they don't have fences. I get that. That's
a give or take.
Yeah, but not all of our schools have fences
Yeah,
because
not
my
all
elementary schools didn't have fences.
Right.
So, yeah.
Did mine have a fence?
Did it?
I don't remember. No. I went to a few schools. Not all of them had fences.
Yeah, my middle school didn't even have a fence. So it's
It wasn't like
I don't
blocked
know.
out from the community. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's easy to be judged when you're not on the camera like we are. So a lot of the times when we're making these comments, you know, we're looking at it from our perspectives.
Right.
And because you and I know each other very well, we're able to understand what we're seeing.
Right.
But I have to remember that we don't just have one audience anymore. We have a diverse audience, and sometimes things could just get misconstrued. You know, so I just have to keep that aware.
Yeah, and
keep
that's
that in
true.
mind.
Yeah, that's true. I get where you're coming from with all that.
I'm currently
That's
living
beautiful.
abroad. What is one time that made you realize that America really messed you?
Okay.
Well,
I moved to Sweden. And when I got here, I wasn't feeling too well, so I went to the doctor. And the doctor recommended that I get an EKG. And I went through
Okay.
Ooh, that's a
Sorry
slow
for these
one.
voices.
about my health. My first reaction was, I'm sorry, I don't know if I can get one of those because I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford it. And this sweet little man, sweet, amazing doctor goes, did you not pay the like $20 when you got here? I ended up getting a regular EKG, a 24-hour long EKG, a blood test, and a freaking checkup for $20.
Ooh.
Best part of this entire situation is that I am getting better and I am getting the medical attention I need without going broke.
American currently
Okay.
living abroad. What is one time that made you?
That is a big deal, but I don't like going to the hospital.
Oh, I don't. First of all, I don't like the wait.
going.
I don't like the wait.
But they don't have to wait.
They don't?
They get results in like 5 minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
I just don't like going. Like I just
Oh my
don't feel
God.
like unless I have a broken bone or something.
But
or,
I feel like, okay, so if we didn't have all the things that we have to worry about, like the cost, the wait time, all the other extra
You would get a
things,
natural,
we'll
regular
probably,
checkup.
it wouldn't bother us so much to go. But
You
I
right.
was going to say, like, you know, I suffered with hyperemesis during my pregnancies. Not anymore. I can't suffer with it anymore because I ain't having no more kids. Knock on wood. But, but seriously, so this last pregnancy that we had was a bad case of hyperemesis.
Right.
And I had to depend on my natural remedies and the medicines that I was able to get that really didn't help much. But with hyperemesis, a lot of women get hospitalized for it.
Yeah.
And I tried my absolute best not to go to the hospital because of the bill and also because of all of the procedures, and COVID was going on around this time.
yeah, sure was. It was tough.
I
So,
can only imagine
this would've
people
been a
abroad
perfect-
who deals with it.
Yeah, this would have been perfect for you.
Yeah.
You would have been able to, you know what I'm saying, handle it with all these free, cares and all. I mean,
Yeah.
Realize that America really messed you up.
One of my favorite questions. All right, so last summer I had to go see a doctor, get an x-ray, and something else. I don't remember. And this was all in the same visit. And I go downstairs, go pay my bill. And I asked the lady, I was like, hey, where do I go pay? And she told me she's going to, and then she just said they'll mail it to me. And then I was like, all right, do you by any chance know how much this is going to cost me? Because in my head, I'm freaking out because this would cost me thousands at home.
Yeah.
And she looked at me and she's like, between 13 and 16 euros. And I'm just like, And the best part was I went to go see another doctor about 3 months ago for something else. And I realized I never got the bill for the last visit. I asked the lady, I was like, do I have to pay for my last visit? Because I never got a bill. She looked it up and she's just like, no, you don't gotta pay. I'm like, oh, okay, America. Oh.
What is one time that made you realize that?
Because, baby, if you got a bill, I'm gonna need you to pay now, and then you can go to the back after you cover that last bill.
Right.
And if you don't have it, we'll
I
see you
hate
next
them
time.
rules, man. Alright, if you don't got it, you gotta go to somewhere else, or you can come back next time.
Yes.
That happens, bro. Like, that's sad. I don't like that.
America really messed you up.
So when I was a teenager, I went out of the country one time to go on vacation to the Bahamas, and we were staying at this resort, and shit happened. I caught a virus that was going around the resort, and then I had an allergic reaction to the virus, and I couldn't really breathe. But the on-site paramedic had already left for the day, so the hotel concierge took us to the hospital in his van and just told us to call when we were ready to head back. So we go to the hospital, I get treated, and as we're leaving, my mom tries to give them her insurance card, and she's telling them, like, I'm so sorry, we've never been out of the country before, I don't know how to do this. They told her, like, oh no, you just keep that, we don't take insurance here. And the look on my mom's face was terrified, like, oh my god, we're gonna have to sell our house, terrified. This was when they realized we were Americans, and they were like, oh no, don't panic, you must be American, we have universal health care here, you just need to pick up your medicine in the lobby, you're fine. The medicine was $8, and they gave me a note to give to the airline to get back into my own country.
Man, so a few of these was like repeats, and we kind of clarify a few things that you guys was like not understanding with us in the comment section back then. But some of these other videos was like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. A lot of medical issues.
A lot of medical issues as well.
Yeah.
Some different things.
Yeah.
So
this was like Dion said, a lot of repeats. So we're learning a lot about things that messes up about America.
Yeah.
And it's just enlightening to learn what other countries are, I don't know, the way of life of other countries.
Yeah, the way of life.
Yeah.
The way of life.
Yeah, it's enlightening, it's eye-opening, and we are enjoying our time with you all. So we hope you all are enjoying your time with us. Like this video, subscribe, turn on the post notification bell. We have enabled our super thanks if you would like to support the channel that way. And we have our P.O. box in the description box below if you would like to send us a mail. We'll see you soon. Peace.